Holographic limbs. Imagine a world where your arm is made of light. Not metal, not flesh, but pure photonic architecture, sculpted from data, bound by plasma, and powered by quantum energy streams so precise they feel more alive than the skin you were born in. That world is closer than most people realize. And it begins with one concept: holographic limbs. At its core, a holographic limb is not a solid prosthetic, but a projection, a volumetric light construct with mass-like interaction fields. Unlike traditional prosthetics that rely on mechanical motion or bionics that merge electronics with tissue, holographic limbs exist as solid light. They're composed of structured photons confined within energy matrices that respond dynamically to the user's intent, neural impulses, and environmental feedback. The foundation of this technology lies in photonic matter manipulation, controlling photons as if they were tangible atoms. Scientists are already experimenting with optical tweezers and plasma confinement fields that can trap and shape light into semi-solid forms. Holographic limbs take that principle to an extreme, constructing a limb entirely from programmable light fields, each one acting as a pixel of physical force. In the beginning, this technology would have emerged as an outgrowth of medical holography, advanced imaging systems that could model human anatomy in real-time 3D. As neural interface technology matured, the boundary between visual projection and physical reconstruction began to blur. With ultra-fast photonic processors, scientists discovered they could generate photonic pressure fields, electromagnetic cages that mimic the texture and resistance of matter. When tuned properly, light could push back. This was the birth of hard light projection, the same principle that would one day create holographic limbs that can grip, touch, and lift. The first generation of holographic limb systems would probably have been hybrid constructs, part real, part projection. A small anchor device attached to the residual limb would emit structured light, shaped by high-resolution field generators. Neural implants would intercept motor commands from the brain and translate them into dynamic photonic gestures. The result? An arm that could appear, vanish, reshape, or expand beyond normal human dimensions, all at the speed of thought. But that's just the early stage. In the mature phase of this technology, matter itself would become a spectrum. You could alter your hand's texture from flesh to metal to plasma simply by changing the light parameters. Strength, flexibility, and tactile sensitivity would become adjustable features, not fixed biological traits. The applications would go far beyond prosthetics. In the medical field, holographic limbs could revolutionize rehabilitation. Imagine a patient with a missing limb training with a projected replacement that behaves like the real one, providing feedback and muscle stimulation as if it were organic. The limb could gradually fade in or out, supporting therapy that bridges the gap between mind and body during recovery. In engineering and robotics, workers could deploy holographic limbs as remote manipulation tools. A scientist on Earth could reach through a holographic interface and interact physically with machinery on Mars, a fully tactile, light-based telepresence system. The arm wouldn't be mechanical, but its pressure fields could grasp and operate tools through the quantum entanglement of photons transmitted over immense distances. In creative industries, holographic limbs could redefine art and expression. Dancers could extend luminous appendages that trail light like ribbons of aurora. Musicians could strum holographic strings that respond to thought and emotion. Painters could sculpt pure light in midair, blending colors not from pigment, but from spectral harmonics. But the true revolution happens when holographic limbs are no longer prosthetics, but enhancements. Once these systems integrate with brain-computer interfaces, humans could gain the ability to manifest any number of additional limbs made of light. Artists could paint with 8 hands. Engineers could build with 10. Soldiers or astronauts could use dynamically shifting configurations for mobility and multitasking. Humanity would transcend the biological limitation of 2 arms, entering an era where the number of limbs is dictated by imagination, not anatomy. To make this possible, scientists would have to overcome the greatest challenge: the energy cost of solid light. Maintaining a photonic field dense enough to simulate matter requires enormous power and precision. But with the emergence of quantum battery arrays and zero-point energy taps, it becomes feasible. These new power systems could draw energy directly from ambient vacuum fluctuations, enabling holographic limbs to operate indefinitely. Then comes tactile realism, the illusion of touch. In current experiments, light can't truly mimic the feel of texture or temperature. But by embedding sensory waveforms into the photonic field, modulating not just light intensity, but vibration and thermal frequencies, holographic limbs could replicate every nuance of physical contact. Imagine feeling the softness of silk or the warmth of sunlight through a construct made entirely of energy. That sensory bridge would also have emotional consequences. The limb wouldn't just act on command, it would feel like part of you. The nervous system could be retrained to accept photonic feedback as natural. Over time, the brain might even prefer holographic sensation, crisp, clean, infinitely customizable, to organic sensation. This ushers in the post-biological embodiment age. As holographic limbs become mainstream, society will begin to shift its perception of identity and the body. What does it mean to be human when your physical form can be rewritten at will? When losing a limb is no longer tragedy but an opportunity to upgrade. Some might choose to remain fully organic, valuing biological authenticity. Others will modify themselves into luminous hybrids, living art pieces of plasma and light. Fashion and social identity would also evolve. Clothing could merge with projection systems, allowing individuals to wear living holographic designs that respond to motion, mood, or social context. Your arm could become translucent glass one moment and flowing starlight the next. Military applications would follow quickly. Holographic limbs could act as both tools and weapons. Soldiers could deploy energy shields, transform their arms into plasma cutters, or project multi-tool appendages for rapid adaptation. Since the limbs are made of programmable light, they could change shape instantly, shifting from a blade to a grappling line to a defensive barrier. However, ethical questions would arise. What happens when these systems malfunction or are hacked? If a holographic limb can exert physical force, it can also harm. If someone's neural signature controls it, could an intruder override that control? Cybersecurity would need to evolve beyond code. It would have to protect identity itself. In law and governance, new categories of crime would appear: photonic assault, identity hijacking, projection vandalism. Insurance companies would need to define the boundaries of bodily integrity in a world where bodies can be updated like software. And religious or philosophical groups might debate whether a holographic body still holds a human soul. In the realm of philosophy, holographic limbs challenge our deepest assumptions about the relationship between self and body. Are you your flesh, or are you your mind's projection? If your arm of light can feel, touch, and be touched, does that make it alive? Could it even possess a fragment of consciousness, reflecting its user's mental state in the structure of its photons? As this technology advances, holographic limbs might begin to evolve autonomously. Neural-linked AI could start optimizing the photonic structures beyond human input, improving precision, efficiency, and even beauty. The limb could become a co-evolving organism, part of you, but also a separate intelligence learning through experience. Then we reach the concept of photonic symbiosis, a new life form born from light and thought combined. The human body becomes a conduit for energy-based consciousness, capable of shape-shifting, adaptation, and self-repair at the speed of light. By this stage, holographic limbs wouldn't be devices anymore. They'd be extensions of identity. You could alter your size, shape, or color instantly. You could embody fluid states of existence, merging physical and digital space until both become indistinguishable. This will transform how humanity interacts socially and economically. Jobs would shift from physical labor to creative energy manipulation. Construction workers might project entire buildings from holographic frameworks before solidifying them. Athletes could perform in holosport arenas with customizable physics. Artists could sculpt entire universes from coherent light. Even entertainment and gaming would reach new frontiers. Players could feel real resistance in holographic environments, blending virtual and physical gameplay seamlessly. Esports would become full contact experiences without injury, a fusion of adrenaline and imagination. But perhaps the most profound transformation would happen internally. The more we merge with holographic extensions, the more fluid our definition of self becomes. People might develop multiple bodies, existing in several places simultaneously, a photonic presence in both physical and digital worlds. In the far future, holographic limbs could evolve into full holographic avatars, enabling the ultimate transcendence of the body. Consciousness could roam freely, no longer tied to flesh or bone. Humanity would become a civilization of light, radiant beings traversing both the material and the virtual continuum. And yet, even then, the essence of this technology will remain deeply human, because the desire to reach, to touch, to create, and to feel connected is eternal. Holographic limbs don't just replace what's lost, they amplify what's possible. They are not the end of the body. They are its next chapter, an era where light itself becomes life. Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment to share your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Your support helps this channel grow. Thank you for watching.